So we are a little bit late than our original estimated time, but now we can hear each other, so we can actually have a conversation. So I'm Nicole Santamaria with Miami Handwriting, and we have today our lovely Lina Acosta Sandaal with Stop Parenting Alone. And we are going to chat about the 3 mistakes that we are seeing. We did something similar to this on Monday on Instagram Live. For those of you who saw it, go ahead and chime in on the comments. And we really focus more on the younger kids. And today we are going to talk a little bit more about the older kids. And funny, I'm curious to see what Lina came up with, because some of the things that I recommended for the younger kids are pretty similar to what we're going to be seeing with the older kids as well. So, Lina, go ahead and let us know if you can see
some of the things that I recommended for the young.
Hold on.
We are live. Okay, good.
We're officially live.
And it is working. Good. So, I can't see any comments if there's any. So I'm not going to touch anything because we are good. We're live.
It's happening.
It's happening. So what happened was that Lina had posted something. I sent out an email about how we should talk to our kids to get them to do what we want. You know, what our words say really make a difference. And especially now when we're all cozy, all together, and we are, you know, not so high on our patience bucket. So really just giving us a reminder of what to say. And those were being explicit and specific when we talk to our kids. So moving from, hey, clean up your room, to, hey, pick up the clothes from the floor and put it in the hamper. If they were little, we talked about the dinosaurs. We also talked about how now the dinosaur bucket might have to go out the window, and we're just putting everything in a bucket so we can like safely walk across the room. So I have here, we're in day 56. I don't know if that's accurate. We're day 50 something for sure of this quarantine. So
you know, does it even matter? Does it even matter what day we're in?
Perspective, that's a lot of days. So with the older kiddos, I think a lot of what's on everybody's mind is schoolwork, right? I had a comment as to how do we talk to them when it comes in reference to schoolwork, right?
Right.
Because
I'm going to go right in with the number one mistake that parents of children 8 and older are making. And every parent that watches this now or later, if you're watching it later, go get yourself that glass of wine before you hear me say it. You are micromanaging your children. And what I mean by that is that you were far in, we're 60 plus days in, and they are on their remote learning, and all of a sudden your little person, your 8-year-old or your 10-year-old is going like this and scratching their behind and not looking at the screen, and you're like, Susana, it's time for school. What are you doing? Susana, take that out of your, sit straight, focus. What are you doing? And then your kid is like, boo. Right? If your child had pretty good grades and you never heard a teacher write you something prior to the pandemic that they weren't able to focus, Susana was putting a pencil in her mouth and looking around the room every once in a while to refocus into what was happening. And you micromanaging them about how they sit, how they focus, and how they are present to their remote learning is you driving yourself crazy for no good reason. And, or micromanaging them about, did you play? Did you go outside? Well, how much TV have you watched? How many shows have you watched? Well, what are you doing? Did you get friends? What are you doing? Right? Those of you that are walking into your teenagers' rooms, you've been in here all day. What is happening? Right? So this, and again, I don't, my space is called Stop Parenting Alone, not I Fix Your Child. Primarily because I love parents. And, I know why you're micromanaging. You're micromanaging your children because we are currently in a anxious, making scenario, right? Like there's a huge part of our brain that is managing the stress and the fear of this uncertainty. Are we gonna stop staying at home? Our school's gonna be open again? Do I have enough money in the bank to have, to pay my mortgage? That's going on for your brain. So you end up trying to control what you think you have control over. And mistake number 2 is believing the fantasy that somehow you have 100% control over what your children think and feel. And we're talking about kids older than 8. This goal of trying to control what they think and feel, here you go again. Go drink that wine. Give yourself a shot. Have a little ice cream. I want you to let go of that goal as well with anybody over 12. So, I mean, these are micromanaging and believing the fantasy that somehow you can control what they think and feel. For children that are older than 8 is something that you have to begin to let go of. You can talk to them about feelings. You can talk to them about values. You can talk to them about your beliefs about what it means to be a citizen of the world. But controlling whether or not they take that on, it's up to them.
So controlling is very different than sharing, right? So you can share, hey, I am making it a point to do A, B, and C. Like the other day, I posted something about my green smoothie because it makes me feel better. That's it.
With a teenager, oh, for sure.
Right? For sure. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't share, hey, these are things that we are doing to make us feel better. That's very different than controlling and micromanaging. It's just like putting the suggestion there, hey, I just went for like a walk and man, I feel so much better because now I can write that email.
Controlling is making the smoothie. Controlling is making the smoothie, putting it in front of them in their desk or they're in their remote learning and telling them drink that because you eat awful and I don't like the way that you're eating, so you're gonna drink this. That's
right. So the other way would be, hey, we should all try and eat healthier during this time. A smoothie is a super easy way to do it. Here are the supplies. I'm gonna make one for me. If you want, I can make you one, or here are the supplies if you want to make one for yourself.
Yes. And so yes. So it's the word discipline comes from the Latin root disciple, which is disciple, right? Our child is our disciple, not our blank slate. They have their own. So somewhere around 8, prior to 8, children have very, very concrete thought processes, black and white. That's why they, things are good or bad, pleasure, pain. But somewhere around 8, and moving all the way through adulthood, children start having this ambiguous thought patterns, right? Meaning that they can see the gray in things, right? They can begin, and a lot of you that have children under 7, that concrete thought patterns is what drives you nuts because they're telling you, I can't do this, I'll never be able to do it. That's black and white, right? And you were hoping for ambiguous thought patterns that I can't do this right now, right? But be careful what you wish for, because every age group we wish for the next marker, but then we get the nastiness of the new marker, which is now they think about the gray a lot, right? So when you tell them this green smoothie is I'm taking it because I'm trying to be healthy and it's a really good idea, their brain now is practicing ambiguous thought patterns. So now their brain is going to go, maybe that green smoothie,
right? But they might be like, yeah, I'm gonna have it.
But you know what? To be healthy, I read on the Twitter and the Instagram and the Snapchat that I should have a protein shake the way that Gary Vee does. So that's what you're up against. And the 8-year-olds, not so much they do it a little bit, but 12 and up for sure. That debate that they have is amazing. So again, the micromanaging of every single tiny thing that your baby is doing, kind of getting in there, they'll turn you off. They'll turn off, and it's exhausting to them. Yes, and for the adolescent, controlling what they think and feel. And I want to give a tip, because I don't only want to give the problem. Change your mindset from trying to control what your adolescent thinks and feels, and start becoming curious about what they're thinking and feeling.
And just to refresher, from adolescent, we're talking the ages 8 up, but that 10, 11, 14, 16-year-old.
So the scientists,
right,
in the United States, because adolescence is there's a little aspect of culture, because other cultures make adolescents a little more responsible before we do. I'll let that sit for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's so evident now that the parents and the kids are all home together. You're like, this kid can't do anything.
Right. So adolescents in the United States, we consider anywhere between 12 and 24. Between 10 and 12, there are multiple hormonal shifts. And the beginning of the brain, like kind of shifting what it does in adolescence, because the brain does tons of awesome things in adolescence. One of them being pruning out, or like getting rid of things that it doesn't use anymore. So adolescence is a great time to clean up the mess you've created up to 12. If they have any bad habits, because whatever you don't repeat stops happening. We have somebody saying hi, Char. So yeah, 12 to 24, we consider adolescents. 10 to 12 in the United States, we call them tweens. And 10 to 12, why they are so difficult is because one morning they wake up trying to act and feel like an adolescent, and another morning they wake up like a child. And that's their dilemma, right? The dilemma of the 10 to 12-year-old is like, they know that they're changing, they know that they're growing, they know that big responsibilities are coming, because we keep telling them that they're going to be middle schoolers and they're going to be all these things. So their little tiny dilemma is that sometimes they wake up and they just want to be a kid, so they may play with their younger brother or sister and be really sweet with the younger brother or sister. But then another day they wake up trying on what it would be like to be older, to be adolescent. So that's the day when they fight with their younger brother and sister, because they're annoyed by their younger brother and sister, because they're not going to play Legos that day. That day, maybe they're going to try on something new. So I think, so again, in this idea of micromanaging or control, which I think that the big mistakes in the older kids is stop being controlling and start being curious. Why is it that your child likes to sit on their foot and wiggle while they're remote learning? And Nicole has the answer to that.
As we were talking about that, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop moving right now, because I was like wiggling. I'm in this weird chair and I just can't get myself together, and I'm trying to pay attention and make sure the thing doesn't explode and turn off on us. Just be still.
So far, so good.
Yes, I know. I think we're going to be all right. So piggybacking on all the awesome emotional brain stuff that's going on, a lot of what I want to say, that my top things that I'm seeing is not seeing, I'm going to say the 3 of them and then we'll go back. So moving around. So the moving is double fold, right? We see them on their school and they're moving and shaking, and we're like, stop it, sit down, pay attention. That goes into the micromanaging. However, the other part of moving is that we need to find a way to encourage them to move their bodies, because they are not getting it. At school, the sitting down, the standing up, going from one class, going from the other, going up the stairs, even if that's all they did during the day, that was feeding their sensory system, their vestibular system, and their motor system. They are not getting that. I sometimes do the sessions and the kids are in the sofa like this. Yesterday, I had one little friend, he had a blanket on, and I do not know how long that boy had been sitting like that. So understanding why they're moving around, because they're just trying to get themselves together so they can pay attention. It is so much harder to pay attention to this Zoom school because we don't have that 3D, we don't have that all that real life stuff. So they're having to pay attention harder. So a lot of them are moving around to get their body to regulate. And then on the flip side, they're not getting any of that movement. Some kids are, if they've adapted the habit to go for a walk, to go for a run, so I don't lose my mind, they're getting a little bit of that movement. But some, for us, that's a family value in my house. But for some families, it isn't, and that's okay. But if we can encourage them to move, not because we say so, and again, the beauty of this age is if they get enough facts and enough reasons, they might be more inclined to do the thing that you as the parent know is good for them, but you shove down their throat.
But let me do the parent tip with keeping in mind micromanaging and keeping in mind.
Right, so it's a fine line between micromanaging and wondering and suggesting. It's a
correct
fine line. It's a,
Right. So the lack of movement is actually a worldwide issue for all human beings. We're moving less, and that's why the Apple phone now tells you what's your active calories, right, that you've burned, right? So my recommendation is to think about prior to pandemic times, and somebody just posted on the comments that her child had a lot more moving with their 10-year-old. He's gone down from 4 days of soccer in school. He does school with one of those, right? So he's doing the ball soccer, right? So what I want you to think about for children 8 and up, it's about sitting down with them and saying and giving them your expectation. I expect you to move 4 times in 7 days. So give me an opinion, but
that will only happen is as a parent and as a family, that's your value, because not all parents have that value, right? Of moving and or exercising.
Right.
That's the key part that we're because.
So let me help the parents because there's brain health and there's science behind why it's important to move, right? So the brain diet is sleep, right? So we have heart diet and we have lung diet and we have GI diet. GI, you need more fiber. Heart, you need more fruits and vegetables, right? Your lungs need, get out of polluted areas, right? And our brain, this organ, needs sleep, a minimum of 4 days of 30 minutes of some kind of cardiovascular movement, right? Nutrition, right? Healthy nutrition, just like all the other stuff. I'm not a nutritionist. That's out of my scope of practice. So find a nutritionist or a nutritionist site. Social interaction.
Right.
So in this idea of like the mistake that the kids are making is that they're not moving, that they're self-soothing with their video game or their screen or the remote learning, is that as a parent, we have to let them know we're going to do this at least 4 times a week, right? And what do you imagine you like? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's going to be your response. Nothing. Okay. Well, then, I just expect you to be outside. I expect you to walk around and this is hard because not everybody has the privilege of like not being in a really kind of messy space, but add it to the routine, add it to, and sit with them and have a conversation. Okay, nothing is not an option. So give me 3 ideas.
Right.
Yeah, or whatever. So
right. So that's different from micromanaging, because it's not like we are all going for a family walk at 5 o'clock. That becomes micromanaging versus we are expecting you guys to, this is what information science says is good for us, and especially we're in a pandemic, we want to be as healthy as possible. What moving things do you want to do? We are going for a walk at 5. You can join us or you can do something else. But having them pick is moving you from micromanaging to I wonder and letting them use that brain power. And that has way more value to them than us telling them what to do, because now they're allowed to think for themselves.
Right. And we have a question. My son is not enjoying his hip hop class since it has moved to Zoom. I don't blame him. It must be really annoying. I really wouldn't want him to quit, but it's a mission. What should I do? So, okay, well, Wendy, if he's older, respect that the Zoom class doesn't make sense to him anymore, but let him know, okay, you used to do a dance class 2 times a week before quarantine, so I expect you to move 2 times a week. What do you think you can do that helps you move, right? And then add that to the routine.
And let them choose, and then kind of hold them accountable for it, because a lot of what happens here is they have all these great ideas because they're just fabulous, and then as the parent you have to figure out what's like my non-negotiable as a family. So having them, that happened in my house too. It was just what they were offering in Zoom just wasn't, I guess they were on Zoom all day, they didn't want to do more Zoom, so my son replaced it with a run. And we let him have that choice, and that went way better than if we would have forced him to participate in the Zoom class. Yeah. So let's just go back and kind of like try and wrap everything up here. So the top thing from Lina is micromanaging.
Yeah.
Micromanaging, but we did give you guys some ideas on how to take it from micromanaging to what's appropriate at that age, which is giving them choices, letting them know what your family values are, and
having a conversation.
I wonder what you could do, and they will come up with some good ideas.
They will.
They will. And yet what I saw was moving on both sides, is that they are moving a lot, trying to keep themselves organized and just giving you guys that information. And their lack of movement is causing them to move more during their Zoom session. And I'm really seeing that the kids are doing better that are having some kind of movement throughout the day. Yeah. Because this virtual school is really hard to pay attention. And I think we all underestimate how difficult it is for the kids to pay attention with them. Yeah, and I think those things are good. 3 things for you guys to all walk away with to kind of put that into your week. I know that Lina, you can find her at Stop Parenting. Well, Lina, you tell us where we can find you at so we can get more of your goodness and where we can be in the circle.
Welcome to the plug zone. So you can go to our website, stopparentingalone.com, and you can find all sorts of amazing things there. You can text the word ready, READY, to 66866, and you can join my email list. I have been, for some kind of maybe annoying or not, but I've been sending a lot of emails. And then right here, you could see right there on the screen, the link to the resources that I have been putting together about sheltering at home. Everything that I've done in Telemundo, every blog I've written, every video I've made is all in one little tiny page. Later on, all of it. So it's a really good kind of like resource that I've created for families. And you could always give me a call and set up a one-on-one with me where I talk about your individualized needs and your individualized tips, and that's a parenting consult. And the way to do that is to go to the website, stopparentingalone.com, hit the word contact, and you can plug in your information to schedule a parenting consultation. And on Instagram, me alone, I am at Parenting Expert, and I share a lot of stuff there, things that just pop in my head about parenting. And, something that I want to share, that I want parents to hold. Listen, every day is a hard day in quarantine times. And if they ate, if they slept, if they got on their remote learning, and you're not getting an email from your teacher telling you that your child shared their screen and shared something inappropriate, and you had a moment of laughter and you had a moment of conflict, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Be gentle, knock it off with all the color-coded schedules, and
the bar has to be like
yeah. So did they eat
out here?
Right.
We're all alive at the end of the day. You smiled twice. Right. Everybody's alive.
Yes. So chill out. And let me put the resources page in the comments. So
yeah.
So we can add it because it's hard to write it out. So so it's important. So yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, so I am Nicole Santamaria at Miami Handwriting. I'm going to put in here my, let's see if it comes out. This is where you can just click on this and you can go ahead. I'll put it in the comments and you can go ahead and get the emails that I've been writing. And I've been doing similar to Lina. I have a whole series of emails specific to what's going on. It's funny because I had recorded them right before this happened, but they're all very applicable because it's all about how to talk to your kids to get them to do what you need, how to start looking at them using those executive skills. Now I'm hearing from so many parents, it's like, I can't get them to do this. I can't get them to do that. They're having a hard time following through where before they were great students. And now the comment of get your schoolwork done is not enough anymore. So I did have a series of videos there. If you are here, you're already on my Facebook page. I'm also on Instagram, so you can get great tips there as well. And go ahead and add it in the comments if there's anything else you want us to chat about, because Lina and I love to chat. And yeah, we'll be great. So yeah, you guys are doing great. Hopefully take these 3 things, put them into play during the week, and then reach out to us and let us know how it went. Okay, you can message us or drop something in the comments. So we are going to try and exit this call, and hopefully we're going to save everything, and it's going to be awesome.
And you can see it later with wine again.
You're drinking a lot of wine. I stopped drinking wine. Okay, so goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Lina. I miss you.
Bye.